it on YouTube.
No, don't do that.
Million likes.
I don't think so. All right, we're going to start an exam. We're going to select 6.11, which is the cervical spine protocol. Hit accept, and then hit accept again. First sequence is the localizer. There's nothing to do, you just save the prescription, talk to your patient. Okay, this first scan is going to be about 30 seconds. Hold perfectly still for me, please. And then scan. And take a 30-second break. Look at the images as they come up. Make sure that you can see the cord. Okay. The next sequence is the calibration. Calibration is exactly like the calibration on the brain scan. Move the toolbar out of your way. All you need to do is click right in the middle of either of these two windows. That's it. You save it. Talk to your patient again. Okay, this scan is also about 30 seconds long. Please hold still. Now there's no break. You can go directly into scanning or prescribing Sagittal T2. You do your setup the same way you did when you did the brains. You want to make sure that you can see the cord in all three planes. So you go through and scan. This one gives you the best view of the cord. However, for the dens or the odontoid process, they're about the same. So that one's the best view of the cord. Here we see the cord nicely up at the top. And if I scroll through, I'm not so peachy keen. I think I see the cord right here. If I wanted to, and I wanted to do a really good job, I can copy the localizer, I can paste it, I can hit setup, and then I can angle the scout to match the angulation of the cord, because you can see the cord coming through here. So I'm putting a slice right through the middle of the cord, just like that. I can save it. Here's another scan that's about 30 seconds long, and scan that. While that's scanning, I can go back to the prescription of the Sagittal T2, and then I basically just select this window and just wait for the sequence to finish. This one, if I did it right, is going to give me a nice straight cord. So I can go to the load series. I can load the second localizer just in this window by clicking OK. Don't hit OK all. And then you have to scroll around until you see the sagittal. And then you're going to have a beautiful sequence with the cord very nicely demonstrated right here. That's going to make it easy. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw down basically in the middle of the cord there. I notice immediately that the scans are actually going, it is a sagittal slice, but the slices are going the wrong way. So I tap the R key, which turns the slices so that they go in the correct direction. I'm also going to add one because this protocol needs an extra slice. So the next thing I can do is I can just take the edge of the pack of slices and put it up against the cord here, just to make sure that the slices are exactly parallel with the cord itself. Because that's the most important thing about this, is you want to make sure that you slice the spinal cord right down the middle. And that looks pretty good to me, so I center it back up again. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the axial plane, and I'm going to make sure that my angle is is straight, and I'm using sometimes like the spinous process, ligaments in the fat plane, just a general look. I want to make sure that it looks like I'm cutting straight through the middle of the patient's neck. and the cervical spine. I'm going to angle this straight because it's angled because I prescribed it off of that window there, and then move this. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my centering, and I'm going to center so that this is the pons, so that the top of the slice goes right through the pons. So I include the clivus, which is right here on my scan. Okay, and if I do that, I should have plenty of field of view to have all the cervical vertebrae. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. T1, T2, and most of T3. So I've got plenty of coverage. I just want to make sure that I include this anatomy just in case there's some pathology in this area that the radiologists want to see. All right, so that's going the correct way. I've centered properly. Now I do my coverage, and I just basically want to center this up so that the cord is going right down the middle, just like that. So that's done. The next thing I want to do is include a sat band. I want to include the anterior sat band, and I want to drop it right down in front of over the patient's epiglottis, over their oral and laryngopharynx, just something like that. You don't want to get it right up against the vertebral bodies. You want to give it a little bit of space so that in case there's any inflammation in the prevertebral space here, it's demonstrated, and you don't want this to bleed over into the vertebral bodies. Okay? So now that I've done that, I close this because I'm anal that way, and then I open this up. My frequency is 256, phase is 192, nex is divided in half to 2. I look at the TR, I notice my TR is too low because I need to have, the lowest I can go is 2500, and this is 2200. I also notice that I have one acquisition, so there's nothing I can do. All I can do is basically select it, delete it, and type in 2500 and hit enter. Okay, so that gives us a scan time of 1 minute and 5 seconds. So I've done everything. I hit save, talk to my patient. This next scan is going to be about 1.5 minutes. Please hold still, and then I can hit scan. Wait for the scanner to start, and then I can select my next sequence, which is the Sagittal T1. The Sagittal T1 does not require a sat band, but I can go ahead and copy the prescription off of the T2 that I've already done. Boom, there it is. No sat band required. I'm going to go do my numbers. 256, 192, nex of 2, and then I'm going to check my TR. My TR is 456, which falls between 400 and 800, so that's done. Everything looks good. I can just save it. Go on to the next one, which is the Sagittal Stir. It's an inversion recovery sequence. I can go ahead and copy again. Select either one, they're exactly the same. And again, there's no sat band. I don't see any mention of a sat band in here, so I don't have to add one. And I do have to do my numbers. So 256, 192, nex of 1. And if I go over here, we have a bit of an issue because I have a maximum number of slices of 12, but I have 13 slices. And that means that I have 2 acquisitions. So I need to optimize this scan by increasing my TR so that I have 13 maximum slices. Before I do that, I'm going to start my T1. This next scan is also about 1.5 minutes. Please hold still. So to do this, to increase the maximum number of slices, I have to increase my TR, and I just do it incrementally until that happens. So it basically, the windows move, which gives you an indication that you're now optimized. So I have a maximum number of 13 slices. I have 13 slices, which gives me an acquisition of 1. So that's 1 bus, right? And so that's good. So that's about 1 minute and 10 seconds. So we're good there. So I save that prescription. I go on to my axial T2 acquisition. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to load the Sagittal T2 that I've already acquired into this window right here. So I go to the load series, I pick the Sagittal T2, and I click OK. You don't want to click OK all because it's going to load it in all the windows. You don't want that. You just click OK. And then bam, we have a beautiful Sagittal T2 MR image here. It's perfectly in the middle. That's my setup right there. I can see the cord here, I can see the cord here. So I'm going to throw down pretty much right in the middle of the C-spine right there. I notice that it's coming up in the wrong plane. It's coming up as a coronal scan instead of an axial scan that I want. Before I fix it, I'm going to go to the sagittal stir, and I'm going to go, here's another 1.5-minute scan coming at you. Keep holding still for me. You're doing a great job. Notice how I compliment the patient. I hit scan. That's gonna run. And then I'm going to turn this 90 degrees to turn it from a coronal to an axial. Rotating it like that. I also want to make sure that I rotate it in a way that the number one scan, the first scan, is superior to inferior. Okay, so that's done. Also notice that it maintains the angulation from the sagittal that I did. So this is angled correctly, this is angled correctly. All I have to do is come here and I have to basically angulate the slices so that, again, you've got like almost like this is a bow and this is the string of the bow. All right, and then once I've done that, the next step is centering. I just want to take this and put this crosshair between the vertebral body and the spinal cord, which is right here. You can see there's a little bit of CSF. I'm just sticking it right in the middle of that CSF. That centers your scan up nicely in this space here, because this is what the scan's going to look like when you're done. All right, now that I've done that, I have to do coverage. Well, I want to make sure I include the tip of the odontoid process, also known as the dens, right here, and I want to count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to add a slice just so that I go through the end plate of T1, because the radiologists like that. Next thing I'm going to have to do, because it says prescribe anterior SAT, I have to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on the SAT, I'm going to click on A, I'm going to click somewhere anterior to the C-spine. I'm going to angle, but if I angle this way, I might actually grab the slices. But if you grab a sphere or a ball outside the slices, you don't have to worry about grabbing the slices by accident. And then you just slide them in so that they're close but not on top of the cervical spine like that. I can get rid of the SAT band window at that point. So I have the SAT band, everything looks good. I go ahead and open this to my parameters, and then I'm going to make sure it's 256, 192, and then make this 1 for speed. And then lo and behold, my TR does not look good. My maximum TR is 6,000. I've got 7,097. So I make a selection. I'm going to pick this one because it's 2 acquisitions that are optimized. I have 40 slices, maximum of 20, 2 acquisitions. That works out perfectly. So I save this. I select it. Okay, this scan is 2 minutes long. Once again, hold perfectly still. And then I hit scan. Lower the sound. And then I select my axial T1. I hit setup. Scratch my eye. And I'm going to want to copy the axial that I just did because it was so awesome. So I select that. And then you can leave this on because the thickness, spacing, and field of view should be the same. Hit accept, and it throws up those slices just the way they were before. There's no SAT band mentioned here, so I don't have to put a SAT band on. I go over here, do my parameters, 256, 192, next of 1, check my TR. My TR looks good, and I have, between 400 and 800, and 648 falls right in between there, so that's good. So then I hit save, and that's it. Scan complete. Then I just basically sit and watch the